Heroin chic. It's been a look for decades now, and today we delve into the style of a film that perfectly showcased it. A lot of people have been asking me to make a video on Trainspotting, and although I had seen it, it had been years, so I wasn't quite sure why they wanted one until I rewatched it. It seems like these guys were not only addicted to drugs, but getting fits off, because there are so amazing outfits in this movie that run the gamut. There's a range of styles and aesthetics that give these guys their own sense of individuality, but at the same time make them cohesive and complement each other really well. Because of this, it gives us as the viewer an opportunity to pull inspiration from the movie regardless of whatever your style is. So let's talk about the 1996 cult classic directed by Danny Boyle, Trainspotting. To get the wardrobe where they wanted it to be, the costume designer Rachel Fleming had to do a decent amount of backdating to decades like the 1960s, 70s, 80s. The reason why she did this is because they wanted to create a wardrobe that looked timeless. And I have to say, I think they did a great job at this. Although there are some aesthetics and styles that aren't in the mainstream right now, when done right, they still look good today. I want to start off with Tommy because it seems like he was the most normal looking one until he started using, and this was deliberate so we could visually separate him from his friends. He wore a lot of plain and simple garments like these dress shirts as well as sweaters, and also styled himself in a way that kind of pushed him towards normcore. For example, this outfit where he has his coat tied around his waist felt very normcore to me. I really liked the textured sweater, and another piece that caught my eye that he wore was a denim trucker jacket that was like slightly distressed and fit him really well. And I think both of these pieces fit within the realm of normcore very well. It almost feels like Tommy was used as like a baseline to show what the straight and narrow people should be wearing. And I also want to make the distinction that just because I say normcore doesn't mean it's bad looking. I actually really appreciate a lot of normcore outfits. I think they look great. Renton's uniform was some rendition of skinny jeans, a slim-fitted top, either a roomier suede bomber jacket or a denim trucker jacket, and then finally those dirty white high-top Converse. You'll notice that a decent amount of characters in the film wear slim garments, and they did that for a couple reasons. One, because they wanted to match the silhouette of the actors themselves, and they were very slender. And then two, during the time of filming, the rave scene was really popular, and because of that, a lot of baggier clothes were in at the time. Rachel wanted to make sure that these guys truly looked like they were on the outskirts of society, both in the film and in reality as well. Renton's looks were influenced by 1980s punk bands with the slim-fitting tops, the denim trucker jacket, as well as, of course, the skinny jeans he wore. A lot of his clothes, like the suede bomber jacket, were distressed, also adding to that punk aesthetic. Another piece that showed off this kind of distressing was this oversized cropped geometric printed crewneck sweatshirt with the ripped up collar and cuffs. The look was finished with gray skinny jeans, his white Converse, and these circular sunglasses that were a perfect accent to the outfit. I love the addition of the oversized cropped crewneck sweatshirt because although it was a different cut, it kind of matched his overall aesthetic really well. One of my favorite pieces from Renton was this slim-fitting crop top. The graphic, which was of a woman laying on a beach, was super faded, much like the t-shirt itself. The fit, color, and image of the t-shirt gave off this 70s look and reminded me of the way men were wearing shirts during the 70s. What's funny is that this is actually a women's crop top that they screen printed on, which is why it gave such a stylized look. Now, I know some people aren't gonna like this outfit because of how extreme it may look, but there are ways to implement this in your wardrobe without it being so drastic looking. You can go for a slimmer fitting shirt. It doesn't have to be a crop top, but it could be maybe shorter in length. Playing with different silhouettes in fashion is really important, even in menswear, and I think this is a great starting off point because it's not super extreme. Slim fitting shirts are pretty popular in menswear right now, and for a good reason. I think Renton's skinny jeans outfit gave off this heady Slimane look if he went down the worst rabbit hole of his life, but it worked for Renton. Also, fun side note, Rachel took already skinny jeans and made them even skinnier to give these guys an even more stylized look, and in certain scenes, you can kind of see this. Although skinny jeans aren't in the mainstream right now, there are a ton of different subcultures and groups still wearing them today, like diehard fans of Celine or SLP, which are two brands that are very much so still part of the fashion zeitgeist today. But even if you don't like those aesthetics, there are a ton of people wearing skinny jeans how they want and making it work for them. Besides Renton's punk aesthetic, he also wore a decent amount of Adidas gear, whether that be his track jackets or these Adidas slim-fitting tops. And I really appreciated this because it added more towards that 70s aesthetic. It also kind of gave us a little bit of an insight of who Renton is besides a drug user. Sick Boy's wardrobe was somewhere in between military surplus and sleazy tailoring. I love how he played with both these aesthetics, sometimes on their own and other times having them cross over. An example of this crossover would be when he wore what I believe is an RAF MK flight suit as a pair of pants with black combat boots, the faded, almost tie-dye purple t-shirt, and that slouchy black blazer paired so well with the outfit. I love the juxtaposition of this flight suit with all these detailings like cargo pockets, zippers, and seams with the black blazer. I thought it went super hard. What's interesting about the t-shirt is that the costume design team played a lot with color for the clothes. They boil washed everything and used a lot of color reducers to dilute some of the color from the clothes, and it appears that's kind of what gave this tie-dye look to some of the shirts like the purple one. I also really like how they played with Sick Boy's silhouette. Sometimes you would see him in baggier fitting pants like the flight suit or this olive drab straight fit pant with the black blazer again that I thought looked really fire. But then we'd also see him in a slimmer fitting black suit with these engineer boots that gave off a trashy SLP look. Or we'd see him in those iconic pinstripe trousers in a skinny fit with black combat boots again, the orange camo t-shirt, and that blazer with the collar popped up. I just have to say, Rachel did a phenomenal job with all the little details of these outfits. Whether it was Renton's distressing or Sick Boy's collar popping, it all looked really good. I think the baggier fitting pants or straight fit pants kind of came from the 80s. Meanwhile, those pinstripe skinny trousers definitely could have been seen on like a 1960s teddy boy. I also love how they created so many different outfits but used so many of the same pieces for these characters. Whether it was Sick Boy's military suit or Spud's oversized shawl collar jacket. It made the wardrobe feel real because this is kind of what everybody does. We interchange whatever's in our closet to create new outfits. So going back to this idea of sleazy tailoring, what I mean by that is even when Sick Boy puts on a suit, he doesn't look put together and clean. He looks disheveled and kind of like he's scheming. And I think in part that's because of his bleach blonde hair that accented all of his outfits really well, but also the way that he wore the suit and the attitude that he brought with it. With all of that being said, I thought all the tailoring looked really good on him. Sleazy does not equal bad, quite the contrary, especially for Sick Boy. Now, Spud definitely had some fun outfits and some of the most memorable pieces in the movie. It seems like he definitely played with a couple of different aesthetics and decades, one of them being the 70s. There were multiple pieces that looked like they could have been pulled from the 70s, like his short shorts, track jacket, the yellow tinted sunglasses, and most obviously that 70s rayon button up with the all over Western print on it. It went so hard. Those yellow tinted sunglasses were probably the most memorable piece in the film, and for a good reason. They're such a good statement piece and accented the outfit so well. It definitely feels like the yellow tinted color and the large frame is reminiscent of the 70s, but that rectangular shape kind of makes me think of like the 80s that you would see on a rap group like Run DMC. For the rest of his outfit, he wears an oversized shawl collar jacket and a pair of black trousers. Now, he also wore a pair of black skinny jeans a decent amount and wore it once with the shawl collar jacket, and this definitely screamed 1960s teddy boy, more so than Sick Boy. I thought a decent amount of Spud's outfits was like this crossover of a 1960s teddy boy with somebody that could have been pulled from the 70s. Besides that, I liked all of the knitted long sleeves and t-shirts that he wore, whether that was this chartreuse graphic t-shirt or the plethora of striped shirts that he wore. All of them being slim and going back to that idea of matching these actors' silhouettes as well as making that distinction from society. Then there was Begbie, the psychopath that contrasted his friends the most. Begbie's aesthetic was influenced by the guys that would go to the nightclub Rachel worked at during her youth. According to her, she said a lot of these guys would wear Pringle sweaters, which is a Scottish brand, as well as polos and button-ups underneath. And Begbie did the same. His outfits definitely looked very clean and sometimes had this Ivy League / prep aesthetic, but more so this idea of like a business bro with all of his Argyle sweaters, polos, and button-ups. Most of his sweaters were from Pringle, as well as his polos and shirts were from the brand Lacoste. Both are labels that work pretty well with the Ivy League and prep style. Now, I think you can pull inspiration from all these characters, but especially Begbie. Ivy League is very hot right now in menswear, and for a good reason, and there's a ton of looks that you can pull from Begbie, like this white polo, Levi's denim trucker jacket, these gray suiting pants, and that gold choker. This outfit is so hard and I think easy to pull off. But personally, my favorite had to be this red V-neck sweater with a white polo underneath, slim blue jeans, and those loafers of his. This outfit looks like it could have been pulled from an Aimé Leon Dore lookbook. It is so hard, and this is something that I'm definitely gonna be wearing once the weather finally cools down in another month or two. But Begbie didn't only have this Ivy League bro style in his repertoire. Sometimes he would go full sleazy businessman and it looked so awesome. Scenes like this where he wore a relaxed navy suit with loafers gave off a vintage 80s, 90s Giorgio Armani look, which is phenomenal. One of my favorite overcoats that I own is a Giorgio Armani one because the tailoring is unbelievable. They did a lot of what's called soft tailoring, which gives this amazing silhouette. Plus, vintage Armani is pretty poppin' right now in menswear, so if you have any, you're lucky. His suit jacket was long in all the right places, and I thought the pants were flowy and wide and made for a fire fit and had him stand out in the best way possible. Rachel was able to create unique looks for not only the main characters, but for side characters and background actors as well. And there was Mikey Forrester with his oversized band t-shirt, ripped up skinny jeans, as well as that leather and Sherpa coat that looked fire. And then of course Swanee with his all black outfit with the leather vest, black jeans, and that leather trench coat with the collar popped up that looked so hard. He kind of gave off a vampire aesthetic, which makes sense because he's essentially sucking the life out of these guys. Then there were background actors like the British skinhead with his oversized bomber jacket, acid wash jeans, as well as those maroon Doc Marten boots, as well as this random shot of like these group of guys that I thought looked pretty hard. I loved the Umbro hat. It's important to put care into the side characters and background actors because it makes the movie feel even realer and it enhances the movie when you're watching it. These guys worked so well stylistically because they all had their own personal style, but at the same time had elements woven throughout each other like the idea of suiting or wearing slender garments, and that's all thanks to Rachel funding. Although there is a lot of stylized looks that aren't in the mainstream right now, like the 1960s Teddy Boy or the 1980s punk, there is still a lot you can take from the film. Whether that be pieces like a slouchy blazer or striped pants to full-on looks like Begbie's ALD outfit. I definitely think that there's something for everybody. Even the idea of like stripping the color from clothes is an interesting thing to take. But most importantly, all these guys look fire. Whose look was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments. And while you're doing that down below, please like the video, share it with a friend, subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on my socials, it's all linked down below, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, where I post fashion and costume design content. I also have the research links down below if you want to check them out yourself. I highly suggest it. That is gonna be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.